Living a healthy, balanced life as a mom can sometimes feel impossible. With tiny mouths to feed, butts to wipe, and so many things vying for our attention, it can be easy to feel like we're in an on-again, off-again relationship with healthy living. But it doesn't have to feel this way. I believe every mom is a super mom, and you deserve to feel like one too, and you don't have to go on another diet to do it. Join me, Kristin Dovbniak, holistic nutritionist and certified intuitive eating counselor, for conversations on what it means to live a healthy, balanced life. I want to help you uncomplicate eating, improve your relationship with food, and live like the supermama I know you are. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Healthy Balanced Mama podcast. I am so happy to have you here. 3 weeks ago, I talked about the importance of allowing yourself permission to eat all foods as an essential part of the process of learning to eat intuitively and find your beautiful balance, to let your body be the guide when it comes to making food choices, so you can truly make the choices that serve you. But there's sometimes a roadblock that tends to come up after we enter this permission phase, and it keeps us from moving forward in our intuitive eating journey, or sends us right back into a new diet if we feel out of control again. And we talked about this, right? The more out of control we feel, the more we crave control, and the more we control, the more we swing in the other direction, and the cycle continues. So then, how do, after we've given ourselves permission, we get to the point where we're not just allowing permission to eat all foods, but also making choices that serve us? The answer is learning to tune in to our bodies. But what does that even mean? I love using the example of a radio or a guitar. We know what it means to tune in to a radio or tune a guitar. When a guitar is out of alignment, we realign it with how it's supposed to be in order to play well. In order to do this, we need to be aware that something's off. Tuning in is awareness, so we can then realign ourselves or align ourselves, if it's your first time, with what works. Tuning into our bodies then is simply awareness of what our body needs in the moment and as a whole, and realignment with what our body needs to thrive whenever we need it. This involves things like hunger, fullness, satisfaction, and how our body feels and needs to be cared for. This is the first step towards intuition, the mind-body connection that allows us to continually make choices that serve us. To be tuned in is to have the awareness of our body's innate signals. We were all born with this awareness, but many of us live in a constantly distracted state. We're busy, we ignore our body's cues. We go too long without eating and then overeat because we're over-hungry. We stay up too late, we forget to drink water, we don't make it to the gym for months and then struggle to get back into it. There are seasons for everything, and this is part of tuning in. Some seasons are busier than others, and some are gym seasons, some are relaxed seasons. But tuning in helps us to determine this so we can go with the flow of our lives and our bodies and give them what they need, whether it's nourishment in the form of food, rest, movement, sleep, water, or anything that helps us live out the lives we want to live. The problem is, many of us have been long taught to ignore our bodies in favor of so-called experts, apps, or other outside sources to tell us what our bodies need. So we lose trust in our bodies, and it becomes harder and harder to tune in as we remain disconnected. Here's why it's important in health and in life. If you're not tuned in to what your body needs, you can't respond well. If you're not tuned in to what feels good and what doesn't, you'll never determine what works. And if you don't determine what works, you won't stick with whatever habit or change you're trying to make in order to live a healthier life. Tuning in to what's working and what's not is key to not just making habits stick, but making the right ones stick. The ones that will actually help you become the woman you desire to be and feel the way you desire to feel. So how do you know if you're tuned out? Some good signals you're tuned out include letting yourself get too hungry and overeating or eating too fast and getting a stomachache, avoiding eating all day and then binge eating at night, eating all day long, even outside of hunger, emotional eating, consistent digestive issues or headaches over not eating or not drinking enough water. Even things like accidentally drinking too much wine because you're not paying attention is a signal that you're just a little disconnected. On occasion, all of these things are okay in isolation, but when it becomes consistent, that's where we can use some help realigning. I created a free resource for you to help you learn how to better tune into your body. So go ahead and grab that in the show notes if you're interested in learning how well you're tuned in to your body's needs and what might need to change in order for you to better recognize what your body needs, and you can move into a place of connection with your body. The beautiful part about this whole process, the better you learn to tune into your body around food, the better you will learn to tune into your body in every area. So I want to leave you with 3 tips to learn to better tune into your body. First and foremost, remove distractions. This is the first and easiest way to begin to better tune into your body. Though I know it can be easier said than done, especially if you're a busy mama, but making space to do this can be crucial. Removing distractions means actually sitting down to eat as many meals as you can. Avoiding eating on the go, unless of course you're hungry. I want you to honor your hunger, but trying to make an effort to eat at home as much as possible, or at least pop into some place where you can sit down and enjoy your meal. Removing media from your eating experience, so actually paying attention to the food you're eating rather than watching TV or scrolling through social media. What this means is simply allowing yourself the space to listen to what your body is telling you. The second thing I encourage you to do is get in tune with your hunger and fullness. This is an essential habit to develop in living a healthier life overall. Because when we ignore or put off our hunger, we're way more likely to overeat later on and experience physical symptoms from ignoring our hunger, like energy dips, moodiness, lack of focus. There's a hunger and fullness scale attached to the guide to help you learn the skill of recognizing those subtle hunger cues so you can better respond to your body. The earlier you recognize and the quicker you respond, the easier it is to respond to our fullness. Our cues play off of each other almost as if they were designed this way. Spoiler alert, they were. Our body is incredible, intricate, and connected, but it's not always as complicated as we think. This also includes choosing foods that are satisfying. There are 2 levels of satisfaction, physical and mental. Did the meal satisfy you physically, as in you're no longer hungry, or do you feel like you need more? Did it satisfy your actual body? And the second is mental. Did that satisfy what you wanted, your taste buds and cravings? Oftentimes we try and choose the healthy option because we think we should. And what happens is we aren't really satisfied. So we continue to eat, searching for this phantom food syndrome, hoping that anything will satisfy us without actually eating the food we crave. There's nothing wrong with eating nourishing foods, that's the goal, but they also need to be satisfying. Satisfaction is learning how to balance foods that nourish our bodies and make us feel good and foods that are simply for pleasure. This is where tuning in comes in as well. And it brings me to number 3. Check in before you are going to eat a meal, go for a workout, start a new habit, anything new that you are entering into. I want you to ask yourself, is this fulfilling a physical need? Is this fulfilling a mental need? Does this sound satisfying? Am I doing this because I think I should? Am I doing this because I know it's good for me? Am I doing this because I want to? And I want to stop here for a second because sometimes we might not want to in the moment, but we do want the end result. A good example of this is that I'd rather stay home in my PJs, but I know a brisk walk would feel really great right now, and I could use the energy. So that's where asking if you're doing it because it's good for you comes in. And this is a really fine line, so it's something that's important to practice. This isn't about control or manipulation, like I'm eating this salad because it's good for me when I really want the burger. This is determining the other factors too. A salad might be good for you, so is the burger if it's satisfying and fulfilling a need. Does that make sense? You can also choose the salad if the salad is just as satisfying as the burger, but if it's not, maybe the burger's the better choice in this instance. Either choice is available to you. It's practicing the check-in so you can begin to tune in with your intuition, that mind-body connection. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes, and the easier it becomes to make choices that truly serve you now and in the future. Not because you think you should, but because they feel good. And the more you make choices that feel good, the more you want to make choices that feel good. Okay, friends, that is what I have for you today. I want you to check out that free guide with the quiz, the hunger and fullness scale, and begin to look at those questions and check in when it comes to meals, workouts, whatever habits you're desiring to start. We're still in the beginning of the new year. Many of us are still in that phase of wanting that fresh start, of starting new things, and we've got a lot of excitement. It hasn't worn off yet. We're ready to start new things. But I want you to ask yourself, is this fulfilling your needs? Does it actually sound satisfying? Am I doing this for the right reason? Because it feels good and I want to improve my life. It's moving me forward towards the life I want to live and the woman I want to be, not because I feel like I should, I'm pressured into it, everyone's doing it, or I'm trying to over-control. Because ultimately, finding your beautiful balance is about choosing self-care and connection over control. I hope you found this helpful, friends. Tuning in is such an important skill to really, truly align you with the way you want to feel and the life you want to live. If you enjoyed this episode, would you please take a screenshot of it, post it to your Instagram stories, tag me in it, let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode, share it with your friends, and I would love for you to leave a rating and review on iTunes. Each and every rating and review not only helps the podcast be seen and heard by more women that need to hear this message of balance and living the life they want to live without restriction or deprivation, but it also helps me to know which episodes you like and the things that you like hearing from on this podcast, so I can continue to give that back to you. All right, friends, I hope you have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and I'll be back next week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Healthy Balance Mama podcast. If you loved it, would you take a screenshot and share it with a friend over on Instagram and tag me in it? It helps me so much to know what you love and are taking away from each episode. If you really loved it, would you hop over to iTunes and give me a star rating and review? Every rating and review helps this podcast be seen and heard by more women who need to hear the message of balance and wellness without deprivation. It's the best free gift you could give me. And as a reminder, the information and opinions on this podcast are meant for education and inspiration only and are not to be taken as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult with a trusted practitioner before making any changes. Have a beautiful day, friend, and I'll see you in the next episode.